All right, folks, we're back here for episode 6 of Snowfall, the Iliad Part 2. I'm Jerry Lucas, and we're here to break this episode down. And me coming in hot with this episode because the big question was, who was responsible for the hit? And last week, we got a lot of suspicion. Veronique, which I was kind of leaning towards. And then there was Peaches, possibly. Or was there somebody else? And we got our answer tonight. We'll get to that at the end of the episode. But yeah, this is a very an arc in itself. You know, between the last 2 episodes, it told a very big, I almost say it's definitely a season changing story in terms of introducing potentially a new problem and with everything going on. I mean, you had internal family issues, but I don't know, when you got a common enemy that tends to get everybody back on the same page among some other things. So we'll break it all down. And as always, folks, you know, we're here each and every week after each and every episode with your official recap of Snowfall. Anyway, we're starting off in a way that I hope we didn't, because Franklin and Gustavo are back down. And I wish Gustavo was still high, because he was absolutely hilarious last week. The things he was saying, but they are still locked up in the cage. At this point now, you know, it's about escape, it's about survival, and that tiger is real. One, I thought the CGI of the tiger looked pretty good. I've seen some terrible tigers, but that one is pretty bad.
Some absolutely horrible tigers, titans. Like
they definitely has, but this one didn't look bad. And I also think because they tried to keep it as limited as exposed as possible, which is smart. Don't be having a tiger out here looking like it's really out here, you know?
and lighting. It's much easier to do a CGI tiger at night than it is during the day.
Yeah. But with that being said, you know, they're back in the cage, and now it's just about survival. And they had an interesting day, should we say, or, you know, at least 24 hours in East LA, from, you know, being captured, being tranquilized, to being almost being robbed, but being chased down, to being shot at. It's been a lot for them. But at this point now, they got to devise a plan. So I kind of want to throw it to you in the sense of their plan and how this all played out and what Gustavo did. What was just your thoughts watching this scene play out?
One, the whole thing with the tiger. The dude who had the tiger has to be an idiot at this point. Like, why he wanted the tiger to eat them kind of made no sense at all. He was just mad to be mad and figured, you know, y'all here, tigers are hungry. Tiger got a tiger. So I'm gonna feed y'all to the tiger. But just the execution of everything. I love the way Gustavo did that when he noticed after the guy tried to lift the cage the natural way, he decides to go on top to WWE lift the cage up. And Gustavo did what everyone does in the WWE when you get on that top turnbuckle. I'm going to kick the rope and I'm gonna watch you fall. It just so happens as he failed, the tiger ripped off his leg. I think it was, you had to find a way for them to get out of that scene that wasn't too silly. Because it's bad enough you introduce a tiger. That is close to being as silly as you can get. So they had to get a realistic way, and that's hard to say with a tiger, of them getting out that cage. And they did a great job of like executing that in a way where you're like, okay, that does make sense that it would be that way, instead of like Gustavo fighting off the tiger as he jumped on him. That was my fear, that was the angle they were going to go down here.
Okay, good, because good thing I wasn't writing this, because that's where I wanted it to go all the way. I say this I want this man Gustavo to out here be like a what's his name, Steve Irwin, out here just fighting the wild, like just showing the whole side of him we never seen. Like, I was all for it, but good thing I wasn't writing it, you know. But it's funny because, like, yeah, we can talk about fake Joe Exotic not handling his tiger right and completely being an idiot. But 2 minutes later, we also see another group of idiots in Gustavo and Franklin, where we got this plan. And we're going to rob a car so we can get out of here. Okay, so
hold up. They're idiots he started before then. So we broke into this man's house, right?
Yeah.
Broke into his house because we were looking for somewhere safe to hide out at. He's now dead because the tiger ate him. and we're going to leave the safe residence that we got to in the first place. Made no sense that they did
right.
that.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. But yes, for I guess for theatrics of the episode, then they proceed to wanting to rob a car because it works in Grand Theft Auto, so clearly it works in real life.
Exactly.
But there's one huge issue here. Beyond identifying the car that you may want, you might want to just take I don't know, a half a second just to see who might be in it.
Yeah, the moment he said, "Get out the car," and you're like, "Oh, so you just not even looking that these are the same ones? They just circled the block. That's all they did was circle the block." And you said, "Get out the car," like that was gonna help you in any way, shape, form, or fact. Man, it was some very interesting choices. Not gonna call them stupid. Very interesting choices that Franklin and Gustavo made in the whole day from both episodes. It's very interesting choices that they're made here. When Gustavo initially said in the last episode, "Don't stop in this neighborhood." How about we not stop in the neighborhood? Or how about we jack somebody right then and there for their car before everybody realizes how much money you have on you? Again, a lot of it didn't make sense, but for the episode, you needed them to make that decision.
Yeah, I mean, but seriously, they literally just saw a car circling the block, which automatically tells you that it's still hot and they are clearly looking for you all. And the first thing you do is, let's rob the next car without sight. Moving on, because immediately they got put in timeout and got put into the trunk exactly where they should have been because of this. Like karma.
Exactly.
Actions get reactions, and that was the appropriate one for them. Now that they get shall we say held hostage and interrogated for the money, the question for you and for the audience is, before we initially saw the decision made, they were taking a beating. Gustavo is so one tone. I mean, he's been through this. He's CIA trained.
Hey, I'm about to say this him all day, every day.
Yeah. This is a walk in the park for him. Not phased at all. But he did have a bigger objective in this, which I didn't even think about. But they did discuss it in a little bit, which we'll come back to. But do you think they should initially just gave the money up, or do you think they should have tried to wait this out? What's your thoughts here?
No, Franklin said it perfectly. You give the money up, you're dead. Like, there's no reason to keep you alive. The only reason I'm keeping you alive and punishing you is because you have that money. So the moment you give me the money, you no longer serve a purpose. What do I need you for? I damn sure don't need to let you go. So then you could you have $3 million. I'm pretty sure you have a crew. That's why you have $3 million. If I let you go, all you're gonna do is come back and kill me.
Yeah.
With your whole crew. So Franklin was right when he said, if we give up the money, we're good as dead. Yeah. As long as they think they can get the money, they'll keep us alive. They'll beat on us until they think they can't get anything out of us.
Yeah.
So that was a very smart idea not to give up the money. You never give up the money in those situations.
What do you think about Gustavo's plan, trying to create that bloodline relation here?
Hey, look here. Whatever works. Whatever works. If I was kidnapped by a bunch of Haitian drug dealers, I will make that connection. Like, my brother, we are all from the motherland. You're close. You could be my cousin. Like, you do whatever, you say whatever you have to attempt to build that connection, because that's what Gustavo knew. He's like, if I build a connection, maybe we can get out of it that way. Not only that, maybe I'll get more information out of them for that. So both ways it served a purpose. But again, it's a smart plan. It's just that, you just randomly picked a poster on the wall and act like the woman who said, don't leave my shop to make a mess. What made you think that they were related? It was completely different there. But again, the attempt made sense, because whenever you're captured, you want to attempt to bond or form some kind of connection to the person that's holding you hostage, because even a slight connection could make them less likely to kill you. Yeah. And that's the goal. It's always to do that. Yeah. That's it. The CII training 101. Make that connection no matter how you got to do it.
Oddly enough, I was like, oh, this might work. I definitely looked at dude's eyes. I was like, oh, this, I think he's falling for it here. Little did I know. And I don't think Gustavo was sold either. I think he would have been surprised if it did work. So.
100%. Like, oh, you fell for that?
Yeah.
like Tupac and Poetic Justice is cousin. Like, nah, it don't work like that.
All right, we're going to public enemy number 2 here because public enemy number 1 is very neat, and you know, for whatever reasons, but we'll talk about it. Public enemy number 2, Peaches is still missing, but also not only is he missing, the blame is also being pointed at Black Diamond and Dallas, who is brought in. And by the way, folks, go back and look at the scene. They definitely have a gun pointed at them the entire time, which is the most hilarious thing ever. Like literally,
you said it best. Like clearly, this is a person who is used to using one hand a lot. Because anyone who's held a gun, I've held a gun for years, and I ain't no way in hell I'm holding a gun for that long period of time on somebody. That joint would have had to drop. I'd have put that joint at my waist. Like, if you move, I could put it back up and shoot you. But I'm not just holding a gun at you like that.
Oh, it's freaking hilarious. It's freaking hilarious. And there's a lot of good things said, but amongst why they should not be the suspects. I mean, Leon obviously was doing what he does best in playing Leon Luther King, and he says like, hey, it's not them. Doesn't make sense. And he's also kind of turning into a little bit of a Gustavo in the sense of just having the same demeanor all the time. Like he's just so unfazed and whatnot. But you know, we'll talk about him in a second.
Oh yeah, because that unfazedness was horrible by the end of the episode. But we gonna talk about that.
Yeah.
If it's one time, you should not be unfazed.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah,
exactly.
Here I think it was the great point that they were making. Like, if we're going to come after you, why would we do it that way?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
It's clearly way too sloppy for them. Yeah. We got to give them credit and understand if they're going to come after you, it'd have been more coordinated because that was never a coordinated attack. While everything was set up where they hit multiple locations, if it's somebody even closer to you, especially them two, from what we know of their past, we could expect that to go a lot deeper than that, and they'd have kidnapped somebody because they love kidnapping people.
Yeah. I want to ask really quickly, what do you think about those two character arcs since their introduction?
Oh, I love them. I love that so far we still haven't gotten the full crux of either character, but we see the advancement of both characters. From just at first, this coming across as just two con people. We knew nothing much about them. And then when we see that they're hitters, and then we see how they hustled and how they're willing to do whatever they have to do to get their position, not only just in Franklin's organization, but beforehand in any organization, they were managing to do whatever they had to do to build that connection with you. Same thing I said about Gustavo. You build a connection however you see fit to. They found a way to build it with Franklin, and look where it's gotten them to this point.
Yeah.
Granted, it didn't get them much here because they thought they would do that, but I think that was just because they're Franklin's people.
Yeah.
They're not Louis, Jerome, or Leon's people. So I think it's easier to blame them, especially as Jerome kept on saying, oh, Peaches could never do it. So instead he picked the people who, like, I don't know them, so it has to be them. And then when they're making a point, it's like, no, because I love that. If it was us, we wouldn't have went at it this way.
Yeah,
because that tells you two things. One, whenever someone says it's not me, because I wouldn't have done it that way. I mean, they literally have thought about doing it before and came up with the plan. Like, oh no, this is how we would do it. Like, that one makes no sense.
There's a great philosopher by the name of O.J. Simpson who also came out with a book that says "If I Had Done It." So, like, you know,
wow. A great philosopher.
The juice is loose in LA.
Oh shit.
No, but seriously, I do love the fact that, like, they have grown to be reoccurring characters, and they're not side characters. They're value, and I think there wasn't a voice for them to vouch for them. But Louis already knew. She was just like, nah, you all have connections. Hit your folks on the street, which is key because they got people that Jerome and them don't. So in order for them to, like, assess the whole block, they're just like, we're gonna hit our people. Leon's gonna hit his people, and y'all hit all y'all connects. I mean, they got a rightful claim at the table, and I think that's not where I saw this last season. As much as we wanted them back, but like I still wanted them back in more of that comedic side piece. But they're real players now.
But we also got to realize their connects are technically Franklin's connects
for sure.
Because again, they're not. We see the family's not nearly as close as it was. So there are different entities within a family. Those have been the two that have been closest to Franklin. Of course, they would have connects here. But first, they got to make sure they call a sitter because they got to go. Like, you holding me up.
Extend that.
Look, babysit at home. Big Mama there. Big Mama ready for them kids to go. They bad as hell. She ready to watch Golden Girls and go to sleep. She got time to be dealing with them damn kids.
There was a lot of women expressing how they were not for their kids today. Gustavo girl was just like, I thought you were dead. I know you weren't about to leave me with these badass kids.
Exactly.
That's the only thing you cared about. They want to kiss them or nothing. I thought you were dead because I did not want to be left with these little motherfuckers.
Hey, not by myself. Like, nigga, you could kill us. Kill us. Don't just kill you.
Yeah. Before I forget, folks, I just want to also just give a quick disclaimer. Here in our reviews. If this is your first time listening to us, watching us, we again, our style in providing these recaps is watching it once and jumping on immediately and giving our reactions, thoughts, and breakdown for it, which means that yes, we are bound to forget things, we are bound to overlook things, we're bound to not emphasize on something as much as we should, we're bound to make mistakes. All those sorts of things can happen. We try to do our best to do it. But somebody brought something to my attention last week that I also didn't realize is also a good tactic in terms of watching it as well too. And that's watching with closed caption, which also isn't an option for us upon how we are able to check out these things. I'm about to say, right. So, and the reason I bring it up is because when we talk about Teddy and his girl, you know, we had all these predictions of where she may be. And I said Colombia potentially because we know he has connects, but somebody said that in caption, it said that she was speaking in, I believe, Arabic, they said. But so you start to think
Arabic.
I believe that's what somebody said. I could probably check the comment in a second.
I'm about to say, because unfortunately, I know people who speak, they didn't come across as that being the language. But hey, we don't know because closed caption is not an option for us, unfortunately.
Exactly. So I just wanted to make sure that because like you all's input and help on, especially with her, is valuable. We'll get to her in a second, but I just wanted to say that while I was just thinking about it. But getting to the next thing too. Now, like I said, they're trying to do process of elimination. Peaches is still missing. Jerome definitely says it's not Peaches while vouching for him. Franklin's not there to vouch for Black Diamond and Dallas, therefore they got a gun to their head and so on. At the same time, while Black Diamond and Dallas has a gun to their head, Veronique and Mom are, you know, getting to know each other a little bit more. And Veronique talks about her upbringing, about her mom teaching her to be a professional scammer, and eventually just turned into her being in a career of being a lawyer. I feel like there's something I should be. I feel like there's something I should be talking about here. So instead of me saying Dave, what about you?
That's why y'all don't like her. I knew. See, people can sense a scammer. You can sense one. Is she like Joanne's god or grandmother? Like she held building beforehand. Jesus Christ! Again, it brings a different level of concern to the situation. I understand lawyers are natural scammers, but I don't believe that was put in there for no reason. So, what is it that she can teach you to be a scammer, but it has to be in a certain direction. Scam what? Scam men out to get things that you want? Scam businesses out to get things that you want? Currently, you got both. All we know is that you got Franklin wrapped around your finger right now. Is this a play?
Listen, if she got those gas cards, hit your boy up. That's what I need right now. Hit me up. You talking about you got the 10 for 20? Let me know. I'll come through right now. I've been
in my backyard trying to make gas. This shit is just not as easy as it seems.
She out here scamming like that? Let me know. But yeah, I mean, and the biggest thing about this, you know, this kind of a transition of knowledge and information is that you know Sissy learns more about who his son is with.
Yep.
But Sissy also lets her know what life you're in, and I knew this was going to play out this way because it always plays out this way. Every single time the mom speaks about their kids, the significant other is always going to take it to heart, as they should, and it is completely going to have them generate new, unprocessed thoughts and ideas instantly. So this statement of just letting you know, this is the life. You could be risking your life, your kid's life. He may not come home at times. This is just what it is. He may not ever come back home at times. So just letting you know. Love you.
Hey, exactly.
And you see how this plays out later, but just a little bit of a heads up, Veronique, in case you didn't know.
But then she should need a heads up. Your mama taught you to be a scammer. Like, it's days you could leave and not come back. Are you kidding?
You already know.
Yeah, we can. Know. Again, it just made sense because Sissy just wanted her to know, like, hey, one, this is the life we chose. Like, you got to understand that you accepted him for who he was. There's no reason to overly panic now because this situation has occurred. You knew what it was from the beginning.
Yeah.
Deal with it. Yeah. Like, deal with it. Like, you know what this is. You know the life we live. Like, come on now.
Yeah.
Like, so there's no reason to bitch and complain. I think that's the more the angle she was possibly trying to go to is, hey, there's no reason to bring this back to his doorstep even when he shows up, or if he shows up, or if he doesn't show up, because you knew the risk going into it.
Yeah. So
no grieving, crying, baby mama. You got all this other stuff because you knew the life.
Yeah. I also think something important to kind of play here is that Veronique kept trying to leave. I need to do something. And like, to me, it starts to say, well, what were you going to do if you didn't even know if you weren't even aware that this was the life? Literally, there's nothing to do. Mom Dukes is sitting here chilling because she knows nothing she can do. Sit back and wait and see. Which to me, I think I should have thrown this out there, is that I think she was trying to escape this entire time.
Oh, I thought she was part of the setup.
I mean, for sure. I thought that last episode, but this episode, I started to think like, I think she's just trying to escape. But I think what was good about how this episode was done is that you did keep seeing clue after clue after clue as to why you should be suspicious about her. And I'm still not all, and like that build up still doesn't have me completely sold that she's just hands free.
Well, technically, you should really pay attention to the point that she's a scammer.
Oh, for sure.
Because again, that's not a throwaway thing to bring up, that's what she is and how she was raised to be. Because what happened if this whole time it's all a setup to scam? Not that she set up because we already know who should set up the shootings. But what happened if the whole business venture is a setup?
Yep.
Because again, she's a lawyer. How better to hide who everything belongs to than in paperwork? You want to hide things from a nigga, put it in the book.
I just feel like I should just volunteer information and I should just let the audience just do whatever they want to do with this one. My name is Nigeria. I am not from Nigeria. That's it. That's the statement. Do what you want to do with it, okay? Since we're on the topic of
scammers, you got to clean your name up front.
So I'm like, I know this motherfucker is not out here trying to degrade scammers when he come from a bloodline of them.
Hey, he come from a country of scammers and he on this show trying to degrade us.
Oh my
nigga, they're like, man, I know I got an email from you talking about put this in your bank account and you'll give me. I know I got it.
Oh my god. All right, so at this point now, they made a deal. Franklin and Gustavo. Franklin's gonna take them to where the money's at. And I think this all came about because Gustavo said like, hey, you got a kid, you gotta go home to your kid, et cetera, et cetera. He has an ultra, a sonogram the next day. So get back to your kid. But and this is important that this was not a plan. This was a suggestion. This was not a plan. And I'm just gonna jump the gun and say this wasn't a plan because Gustavo said I didn't think you were gonna come back, which was important. Because we never ever established that they did not had trust for one another. So they were both basically shooting in the dark. I mean, it's almost like playing spades with somebody you never partnered with, and understanding how that person play, understanding how you can bid. And when I say I got 4 in a possible, you obviously know that I have a strong 5, and you know that if I mess up, I know you could clean me up. Like these things, you know. And the fact that these two were kind of playing in a very strategic factor, but not really having trust one another, is to my point earlier where I said Gustavo's game plan here was to gain trust from Franklin, if anything. And Franklin, more or less, wasn't priority trust, but was more priority of get home. Yeah. Typical him. And I think that one way or another, they both got what they wanted, plus more, because they both got trust from one another. They both got back to their families. And to think about the future, I'll be honest now, you know, Teddy and Gustavo's like this.
Yeah.
Now you got this almost a unbiased person between the two of them who may call it straight with Franklin in terms of things Teddy may be up to. Also, Teddy may have a change of heart too, because he was like that close from death. So we never know.
Not only that, though, Teddy doesn't even tell Gustavo everything.
True. Right.
He fully understands the separation. That's why I think it's another great scene. I think it happened after that moment between them there, when Franklin asked Gustavo, did he think Teddy was alive? He said, oh, he's going to outlive all of us. It's something about him that he'll always figure out things, and he won't tell everything. So again, that was a setup. Again, now we get back to Franklin taking I do not want to call them the racist
essays.
I know
the Amish.
But taking the essays back to the House of Horrors or the Tiger House.
Yeah.
And, like, again, amazingly with this, you knew the moment Franklin said, is that the house that you picked us up from? We don't know the location. You got to take us there. You knew why he was taking them there. He wanted the tiger to eat them. You just had to figure out, how would we get again? It's about using the tiger properly. And how could you make this seem realistic that the tiger doesn't also eat Franklin? And this is the perfect setup, because the whole time Franklin thinking, as he's walking up towards the garage to get the money, he's thinking, okay, the tiger's back there. I don't want to be the first to walk back, because then the tiger's going to like eat me before he gets any one of them. And for that big jump, pause, to just come behind him like that and just devour that guy was crazy.
Yeah.
But again, lighting is perfect here.
Yeah.
The tiger looked great.
Yeah. I think you know, when you play stupid games at the exotic zoo park with Joe Exotic, these type of things happen. I tell you what,
Carol Baskins when you need her. This is crazy, Joe.
I tell you what, though, those police scanners in East LA was probably going crazy that night, man.
Excuse me, it's a what in the street?
So yeah, getting to this part now. This is, you know, when they were told, Louis told
another question, because it also brings up, and because I know he's about to skip to it, because that's when Louis told him about where that he was still alive.
Yeah.
When did he place the phone call? Because you told me he went back in that goddamn house and placed that phone call. Couldn't they have done that at the beginning of the episode?
See, that's why that did not need to be shown, because that's what I thought.
Oh,
and
the
moment you do that, you also got to redo the beginning, which by commercial, they could not extend this any longer. That's exactly why it had to be done this way. It had to be done this way for the show to be an hour, 43 minutes of runtime plus commercials. They could not added that, because yes, that would have had to be a thing, because there's a lot of questions being said there. You got your handcuffs off, you had to make the call, you had to get into the car, you had to put dude in the trunk. There's a lot that would have been like 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute, 4 minute runtime over. So, and then you got to do the front again, because you're gonna be like, what made them not go into the house the first time?
What made them not make the call? Exactly. Because we remember in the last episode when Franklin picked up the phone didn't have a ringtone.
Oh, right.
When did it? So now the phone has a ringtone and you make a call. So you could have did that at the beginning of the episode.
Don't hurt your brain, sir. Don't hurt your brain.
I'm just saying.
Just let it go. All right. So this is again where Gustavo's, told Franklin he didn't think he was gonna come back. They also talked about, I knew that you and Teddy were watching me at the first drop, and then obviously Gustavo said I didn't know anything about this, and that was good, because again, however that said, and however that was said, and based on what we discussed a second ago, they gain trust from one another because they realize that not Teddy is the enemy, but also Teddy also got both of us in the dark, no matter what side of the table that we're sitting on here. So, and then that's where they see the tiger one more last time, and they say no more East LA, and the tiger rode off in the middle of the night, and Joe Exotic needs to come pick him up. Getting back to the bar, Gustavo girl comes in. Like I said, she said, I cannot believe you're gonna leave me with these kids, but it's all good. And I think again, Sissy helping Gustavo. He cracked a smile, which is telling. And he's happy because he gets to go back with his family. He even cut up his monotone just a little bit. And again, I think this is, like I said, with Franklin wanting to get back to his family, which meant the most to him. We see that Gustavo, who did not really prioritize that, but also we see how important it was to him when he got back and to be accepted in that capacity by. And I think at this point now, Sissy Saint is just like the OG mom, G mom in the hood. Like everybody respect her, and like the fact that you got the preferential treatment by her to get your little wound healed up. I mean that's like wonders for everybody. So that's why Gustavo had a little bit of pep in his step when he walked out here,
because he got that sissy treatment.
He got the sissy treatment. Yeah. Oh man, I can't believe you guys still talk about Alton. I don't know about this episode, but where's Alton?
Hey, eventually we're gonna have to get to the point of Alton, because again, we kind of thought it could possibly have been Alton that was setting all of this up in the first place. But again, it is something we have to get back towards. I think also it's very interesting that even when Franklin got there, he still had them holding the girls up.
Well, they were they're still part of the who is part, but see, this is different now.
But Franklin also doesn't trust Peaches, because he's clear, like, where's Peaches at this point?
Yeah, and I think this is why I like this scene, is because it did shift from it being Diamond and Black Dallas, or Black Diamond in Dallas. I know who I'm talking about.
That's why I said the girls.
Yeah, I know who I'm talking about. The very responsible mothers inside that room.
Exactly. The only mothers besides Sissy inside this room.
And Veronique.
She ain't no mama yet.
Yeah, she is. She got the heartbeat today. She a mother now. She in there. It's confirmed.
Not according to Texas.
You're going to get canceled. You're going to get canceled. You're going to get canceled. But yeah, because remember, Jerome Ho stances, it's not Peaches.
Yes.
With his chest, he said it ain't Peaches, which is weird because he definitely went hard for it's not Peaches. But now that Franklin voice is in there to vouch and to completely clear Black the mothers.
There you go.
When he says, "What's the play, nephew?" He says, "Well, let's clear Peaches. Let's do that. Let's find out what it is." And you go to the safe house or whatever, the only place that only them two know.
And whole stash gone. That says a lot, because at that point you get one, it took away the facade away from Jerome, because that was the key part, because he was going to die, that Peaches would never do something of this nature. So when that money's gone, and Franklin clearly says only 2 people know this location, I think that puts you down a trajectory of fully thinking it was Peaches. But then you would still need a reason why Peaches, who has HIV, would like do this. And
allegedly,
well, he's sick. It's the 80s. I still think he does, and I think that that's going to play a part in why all of this happened in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, and for sure, I'm just saying, because I know somebody will jump in the comments and say, like, what did they say that at? Like, no, allegedly, it does start to all point in that direction, but it has not been confirmed yet.
Yeah, and it just shows that, okay, at this point, that it must be Peaches. It's another misdirection, because you thinking it's just one person here, but again, you would have to wonder, how could he even coordinate this big of an attack?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I you know, in my notes I said, like, all right, well, Peaches behind this, but how? But also I got another how. So we'll see if these things kind of connect and whatnot. Now going back to Teddy, who is definitely coming off of his meds and having those dreams, you know, those ones that are like, you know,
vivid pain memories.
Vivid pain,
dreams.
Yeah. Dad, before I say this, I just want to say one other thing too. Veronique also, with her like, "Hey, I'll meet you back to place," was another strike in the You seem real suspicious because soon as he said that, as soon as she had 1 inch as to why it was okay for her to be by herself,
she took that shit.
Yeah, they're not going to strike again tonight. And then she said, "I'll just go home then." What? I'm staying by the homies the entire time.
Because why would I have so much trust that they wouldn't strike again tonight?
Yeah,
like that should be the question right there.
And also, you don't know about this life, so why would you even big question mark for me? Like letting her go is a big question. Her suggestion to go is a big question. None of that should have happened, but
it shows that Franklin is also not thinking.
Yeah,
he's riding strictly off of emotion here because one, he should have other people, and there's no way I'm letting you go home by yourself. They're going to drive you home and they're going to stay with you until we figure out what the hell's going on here.
Yeah. But yeah, going back to Teddy now. Her name is Parisa, from what this comment says. Ooh. Rosie25 from our last review says, "Bro, Parisa," because it's Paris with S-A at the end, so Parisa, I guess, is not from South Africa. She is speaking Arabic and listening to a song in Farsi.
Did we ever say she was from South Africa?
Oh, South America. Sorry.
Yeah,
sorry. Sorry.
It's not Charlize Theron. From South Africa.
Yeah, she's not from South America, which I say Colombia, so cool. But that he says, like, yeah, she's speaking Arabic and listening to a song in Farsi. And that's one person that said that. And then another person said, if you go back and rewatch this episode with the sub captions on, and this is from Ray Swank. I watch every show with subtitles on. It says Parisa, the surgery lady, speaking Arabic, and when she finds the drugs in the back of Teddy's car. So cool. Now
I hate that for you that you watch everything in subtitles. It drive me crazy.
Actually, I mean, I don't know. It's not my thing, but
I would start reading. I wouldn't pay any attention to anything else on screen. That would irritate me to the man. That's why I don't watch foreign movies anymore.
Yeah, especially like an abundance of it. It definitely is draining. Definitely draining. But let's compile their scenes together. Now, when this happened, this is when, as I said, now that he's back alive, the big question is, what do you want? She puts 1 and 2 together and understands that, oh, you're the person I had heard about, funding the Contra and the CIA guy, blah, 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 blah. And he initially paid her $250,000. It's up now because she found out that he had a lot of drugs in the car.
It's up in his stuff.
Yeah.
He lost your mind.
Yep. So 500,000.
Yesterday's price is not today's price.
But she said ever since they were in where? Because I didn't pick this up. Her accent, I couldn't pick it up. I want to say she said Tehran, but whatever. Wherever they were at before. And that makes sense actually because
Tehran? That sounds about right.
That makes sense because that is a native language of that country.
Arabic.
It's Arabic.
That would explain why she's speaking how she's speaking.
Also, that would seem like
and Farsi.
Yeah, exactly. But she said, "Oh, you had a wife and all this other stuff." But she's always wanted to be on him. She always liked him. I knew it. I called it. I said there had to be something romantic going on with their.
She masturbated right after giving him surgery. I'm pretty sure it was something.
Freak elite. Parisa, the nurse. Freak. How you like it, Teddy?
Like I knew I heard her name and what these bitches want from a nigga. It was right between Selena and Trina. I know it. Marisa, Selena, Katrina, about 3 Kims.
Yeah, she's a wild chick. But I mean, they really didn't discuss what it is. So quick predictions on what she wants. I quickly say she wants to be involved.
Yeah. I think at this point, if she knows who he is, what he's supplying, she wants to be down with it because it would only make sense. She wants in on the business. And she said everything was normal until I opened your trunk. And she knew how much in drugs to money quality he had. So it clearly shows like she wants in. And
Yeah.
it could bring a very interesting dynamic if she can get a different group of people to also buy into what Teddy's doing versus what Franklin is doing.
Ah.
I think that's again, you don't introduce characters like her for no reason. And it couldn't just have been just for her saving Teddy. It has to be a bigger play here. And maybe that's the bigger play. It opens the pipeline a little bit more for Teddy. At least, or they about to have sex. It's gonna be one of the other.
They're definitely gonna have sex a few times, but
Teddy doesn't seem like the type that mixes too much business and pleasure. That's not his bag to mix that up too much. So, especially pleasure will never interrupt his business.
Yeah.
So you got to kind of wonder, how will he end up playing this out? Because again, this is somebody who also is now privileged to too much information.
Yeah.
And we also know how he goes about people who he feels has too much information.
Yeah, that's true.
You can save it 1 minute and he could kill you the next.
It's crazy. She's been plotting on him since Tehran. I think that's what she said.
Tehran,
she finally got her opportunity, and here she go. And again, I don't think she wants to be a dealer. I think she just wants to be involved. She wants to be close to it. I think she doesn't want to go back to this job of feeling like she said, she felt like people were just. She had a inferior job based on what her qualifications are, and she wants to be able to do more.
Maybe that's the role in the organization.
For sure. And everybody needs that. That's what I said last week.
Doesn't need a doctor. Come on, man.
He did, clearly.
Exactly. And that means a different angle. Then you can farm her out to Saint. By saying, hey, I have a doctor on staff. If somebody happens, you go here.
Yeah.
Like the cleaning lady. Just you go here. This she'll get you right.
Yeah.
She'll square you away. Like that's a very valuable person in the drug game that you can have.
Yep. So Franklin goes home. He sees a note on the counter. What did you think?
I mean, it's the 80s. I was surprised that she left the note. I had to remember that this was the 80s for a minute. I said, a note? What the fuck? Where's the text at? And I was like, 80s. But at that moment, I thought, in all honesty, that she was going to admit that she was part of everything that happened. I didn't think it was just that I'm going to the doctor. Like, that's not what I thought the note was going to be about, or that she's leaving. I thought it was going to be, I'm sorry, I had to do this. I didn't plan on getting pregnant by you. I expected all of that in that note, and that was his reaction to it. I know some people gonna think or expect that meant Peaches kidnapped her. I didn't want to go that far because I didn't think that would be the angle that they would go off with Peaches kidnapping her like that, because then it would expose the stupidity of Franklin letting her go home by herself in the first place.
Yeah. Folks, let us know in the comments what you thought when you saw that letter on the counter. I'm not even going to give my thoughts for the sake of time, but I want to know you all's thoughts, so definitely jump in the comments and do so.
Why wasn't it a 4-page letter?
What?
Oh man, you just missed it. Damn.
I said I'm not getting involved with this one. I'm letting this one go. I got some jokes for this.
That was my joke right there, man.
I got you now. I'm gonna let this one just slide. I'm gonna hit a few ones really quickly. It's actually one other thing that we're gonna get to the big reveal at the end. So Jerome goes and they hit up one of their connects, and eventually he has to throw down because Jerome is hot right now. Because I guess obviously he's pissed about the whole Peaches thing, but I think it's just hot, period. I think he has a chip on his shoulder, and to me, I think he just didn't take being shot at well ever since. So he really just unleashed, and he is definitely on 1,000, and that's just that. He laid the beating down and beat dude to a pulp, got back in the car and rolled out. So that's that scene. And I think just the context of that scene is just to say dude's on edge, so watch out because he might be ready to die.
It's also going to play off what repercussions do we get from that scene, because you're just not going to beat him and I think you're going to get something for that.
Facts. Next thing is sonogram. They have a baby, one baby, could have been twins, one baby. It is a heartbeat, everything's good, but she says, I'm scared. Obviously, Sissy put that fear in her heart, but the fear in God in her. So, you ain't about this life with my baby. It's always going to be like this. And she said, I got to keep myself safe since you can't do it. I need distance from you. The only time that we can mingle is work. What? What?
Nigga, you think you still work for me? Like, who told that lie? Come on now. The only place we can mingle is work. You got my whole baby in you. What makes you? We are way past the point of you just thinking we can separate. I think that this goes along with her not understanding the life. At this point, you're pregnant by him.
I'll see you at work. What? Nothing else.
Yeah, your whole life, you're a target forever at this point. It's one, and it kind of pulled into the reason that Sissy had that conversation with her, because she just assumed that they'll get this, or what we have been shown. She assumes that once they get out to life, everything will be fine. You're a forever target now. When anyone wants to get after him, you're the first person they're going to go through to get to him.
Silly goose.
Yeah, silly goose. Come on now.
Yeah,
see the Jay-Z Can't Stop the Hustle video? Anybody.
Like, this only stamped that Sissy was right. That's
yep.
It. Mm-hmm. That's it. So we'll see how this plays out. We'll see how the needle tips goes beyond this episode. Both for Franklin that's kind of in shock, maybe anger, but we'll see if Veronique can actually a little bit of both. We'll see if Veronique can like keep her money where her mouth is, talk about the distance. We'll see. Or she's still really behind this stuff and needing a reason to create separation to do her BS and whatnot.
There you go.
There's a couple other things we could have talked about. Franklin going to see what's his name, the guns dealer. It's really not important.
Ivy.
Yeah.
And then saying she left me, and
he's sad. He went to go see
Dr. Ivy. I think that was just possibly another angle of playing someone until they revealed who the person was, that maybe it was Ivy, because we could have thought it was him because he has the connections to pull someone
right. And he did say he lost his best friend there and all that other stuff. So cool. Yep. Folks, let's get to the last part of this episode for the night. We have our reveal. Our reveal. Coach Kane, who was in jail, got out a few months ago. Before I even get into all of this, I just want to ask just a straight up question. Are you all sold that he done this, and why? And drop that in the comments, because the reason I asked this question is that you have to remember this was a very strategic, targeted hit, and you had to know the drop, you had to know the timing, you had to be able to follow them, you had to know everything. And it's not to say that he couldn't do it. He could have done it. Maybe he couldn't have done it. But I want to know you all's thoughts as to did Coach Kane, are you sold that he did this? Because folks like to claim things that they really ain't do. That's a thing too.
I know that. Franklin asked the key question. Did Peaches go along with you this? Or did you force him to? Which way did it go? Because in all honesty, are we to believe that Peaches is this big of a sucker that you let this dude possibly kidnap you, take you to the stash house, tell you where everybody was at by force? That's way too much stuff to go on by force.
Yeah.
Or did Peaches go to you because you are his muscle? But how the fuck are you muscle? You've been out of jail for a couple of months now. As Franklin, again, I didn't like this reveal because I am not a fan of, in season 5, overly introducing someone who should be considered a big threat. Because if we were to believe that he coordinated all these attacks, there's no way he's not a big threat. So he would have to be a big threat. I don't like the idea of introducing a completely new big threat and then giving him the backstory of what happened and why he's this threat.
Yeah,
you can talk about who he's related to and things of that nature.
Yeah, and so to kind of set this up, Dallas and Black Diamond, they said they got the intel. They're the ones that said like, hey, we heard on the street, Kane, fresh out the pen. Y'all know who that is, and the relation is Kane, Coach Kane, because he out here coaching football fresh out of jail. Why? Of course, it's what they do in Cali. So
it's fine for him to be around kids.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. No issue here. Yeah. But he does consider Little Lee and Franklin as his little brothers. Frankie. His little brothers. But also while he was locked up, he was aware of Delroy being killed, little Kev, which is his little baby brother, and there was nothing he could do. So all he could do is just sit and wait till he got his chance to get out. And he did apologize to the big OG and Sissy Saint. He said that's on him for doing that, but he did say something I know Lucas is very happy to hear. Next time I'm gonna do better. I'm gonna get better shooters. I'm gonna get it right next time. So he admitted he had some bullshitters doing it.
Hey, the key part is everybody. if you in this life or know anything about this life, and you grow up, become an adult, and someone who's been in life before you, you know when someone's trying to little bro you. And one thing you're not calling me is a nickname that I had as a kid. You're not calling me Frankie. I'm gonna cut that shit all little Lee. Again, this is where I said, Leon, you, grow up. I understand, Leon Hampton, that you want to be peace. You want to be this revolutionary. You can't do any of that here because all he's doing is trying to put you in your place. He's like saying, y'all some little dudes. Y'all thought y'all had these streets a lot. Like he came in like Frank White. Like if it's a Nick Sword in a park, I want in. Like he's establishing like I'm more dominant than you. And that's why I love Franklin's reaction to him, which is I could kill all of you. I could wipe all of you off the map. I think this is going to be a part where maybe this is going to be used to make Franklin into the full monster that people have been waiting for him to become. Mm-hmm. Because unfortunately, you shot at his mother. You shot at his unborn child. You shot at the woman that he thinks he loves till she realizes that she's with Kane also and that she's scamming him. Like all of that you did to him is going to be a reaction, and it's not going to be a peaceful one. And because he believes Peaches is involved, and Peaches has to be involved at this point, there's no mercy anymore.
Yeah.
Not only that, nigga, you done turned the CIA against you. Everybody got to die.
Yeah.
And this is what people have been waiting for Franklin to become. You've been waiting for him to become a full monster, as we've constantly heard throughout the past seasons. Like, the kid's a monster. And they kept on telling Sissy that. Sissy don't want to believe it. Here, he has to become that person. Be like, yeah, I have to wipe all. I don't care that there's kids in this park. I don't care who's here. You'll never be safe.
Yeah. Gonna be interesting when Teddy finds out exactly who it is and how does he handle the situation. So it's gonna be a lot of enemy of my enemy is my friend. I said that right. And so on. So yeah, I'm very much on par with your feelings about the reveal here. I'm again for the sake of time, I'm not going to elaborate on it. I'm going to give everybody an opportunity in the comments below to let us know your thoughts about the reveal of Coach Kane now being introduced and taking responsibility for all of these hits that were all
Did
failed.
You see his crew that he had at that park? How could who?
I mean,
you
question mark Riddler question mark all
exactly. You came out. You've been out of jail for a couple of months.
Yeah,
and you coordinated this attack in a week or so. Come on now, we're not gonna believe that.
So more, it's got to be more to it, but we'll see. And we'll be here obviously to discuss it all. You got to jump in the comments and let us know your predictions, your thoughts, and so on for this episode. It's a lot to come. We're going to be here the entire season. Anything else you want to say before we leave? I feel like something else. Oh, yeah, I know what I was going to say. Where the hell is Wanda at? Anybody going to blame her?
Well, Wanda.
Okay, cool.
Wanda got her new job.
Got her teeth.
She's showing up every day at work on time.
Yeah.
She says a bitch got to get her money. She's out here getting her money. She can. What happens anywhere else? Wanda was there answering phones first thing in the morning. She's like, look, I can't even deal with y'all getting shot at. Like, is my check coming? I gotta make sure. I still get a check. And Black Dallas and Black Diamond and Diamond and Black Dallas, as Nigeria said multiple times this episode, they gotta make sure they get to their kids. They can't be messing around with Franklin. Franklin gonna fuck up their babysitter. And the next thing you know, you got to find somebody else to watch your kids. Don't you?
Those baby kids right now. Those baby kids right now wreaking havoc. The rate has went up now. They got to hit a premium because of the damage that's being done. They need to get back. So, oh man. But yeah, folks, that'll do it for tonight's episode. We'll see you back next week for each and every conclusion of Snowfall with our official recap show. Thank you for tuning in, folks.